Um, what is legal's position on this?
Judge, I'm a little perplexed. I've never encountered something like this. If we can pass, I can reach out to my office to see, because technically, they don't own the whole property. They're not gonna, if the property gets sued, it's not gonna be H&A Property, since they only own 2 units. It's kind of unusual. There's no
Right,
management company,
right.
there's no association. So we can go to the next case and
Yeah,
I'll inquire.
the problem that you have is that you have a dissolved entity that used to represent the condominium owners and was the condo association. In the absence of that entity being viable, you have to determine whether the individual property owners are the ones that should be cited.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's occupied, so basically I can notify every single unit owner.
I'm going to let the city attorney's office figure this one
Okay.
out. That's above my pay scale. So we'll pass on this matter until a further determination by the city as to who is the proper party to address the 40-year recertification. I do have one question, Mr. Code Officer. Are there any life safety issues that need to be addressed?
I don't know.
Okay. You don't know because you
No,
don't have
there
the
is- there is-
report.
Exactly.
Okay.
There is no major, actually.
Okay. I would, even though we're not going to hear your case today, I would suggest that all of the unit owners get together. Number one, form an association. It's not going to cost you very much. All you got to do is file papers, and with the Secretary of State's office, it's probably going to cost you $200 to file, and then have a president and other officers represent the association so that there's somebody that can talk to the city and work out whatever needs to be done with the recertification. But in the absence of an association, I think the property owners need to get together and
Yeah,
figure out what to do.
Thank you.
Okay,
thank you.
thank you. Let's table it for 30 days.
Item number 69, CEPAR 2018-00058, Hudson, Officer Jose Perez, and that's item number 69.
Sir, will you please state your full name and property address for the record?
Larry Hudson, 570 Northwest 139th Terrace, North Miami 33168.
And what is your association or relationship to the property in
I'm
question?
the property owner.
City, Mr. Perez, please proceed.
City of North Miami Code Enforcement Officer Perez. Today we're hearing the case in reference to the property at 570 Northwest 139 Terrace, North Miami, Florida 33168. This is in reference to the exterior of the property that should be painted and needs to be in good repair. On March 13th at approximately 3:41 p.m., I conducted a final inspection, which at that point they had not complied. I have photographs of the investigation. I will forward them to the property owner.
Show them to the property owner. Mr. Hudson, is that your property?
Yes.
Okay. I will admit the photographs into evidence. I have one from a prior case. Here's the one with the boat.
This is the first time the city's the city's hearing this case, by the way.
Okay. I can't really tell much from these photographs, so I'm going to ask the property owner to tell me if he contests the violations, and
Well,
if
he-
not, then tell me.
They were
how
talking
much they're
about how
needing.
my awnings needed to be pressure washed and painted, but it's like, okay, I can paint them, but it's like you guys said that you have a color swatch that you prefer. It's like, what's stopping me, since I don't need a permit to paint them, I don't need a permit to paint anything, why can't I just choose what color as long as I don't make it red, white, and pink, I can just go to Home Depot and get paint and put on it, right?
Right. So the city has this procedure in place to prevent the homeowners from picking extravagant colors. At that point, you would need to go to the community planning development, and they would tell you what colors are okay. You could also submit what color you would want, and they could tell you yes or no.
Do you have any problem just letting the city know what paint you're going to use?
Yeah, I'm just gonna put. Can I tell you? I'm just gonna put beige paint on it.
I have nothing to do with that.
It's not
That's
the
with another
code
department.
It's not the code department that makes that decision.
I get that, but yeah, it's like if I don't need a permit to paint it, it's like as long as I'm not putting some bizarre paint on there, I don't see why I have to go through all this hassle.
Well, the issue today for this hearing is whether or not the property needs to be repainted. And I think we agree that it needs a paint job. So all I ask you to tell me is how much time do you need to get it painted? You don't need a permit for paint, but if your color is one that the city approves, then there is no issue.
I don't know, 60 days?
No, you got it.
Okay.
Okay, so I find that the photographs and the testimony reflects that there is a need for repainting of the property. Violation exists as of right now, and I find in favor of the city, adjudicate and set an amount of $250 if not complied with within 60 days. So you got 60 days to paint your building.
June 12th. Okay. Thank you.
Does anybody need a break? I don't, but does anybody need to? You want? You need a break? I see. We're gonna take a 10-minute recess. There are people that have been here. Oh, I'm sorry. Does anybody here need to be heard right now? That they have a time issue, a time-sensitive matter that you need to attend with? All right. So everybody wants to stay. Nobody needs a break. Okay. Let's proceed then. Get this thing finished.
Item number 86, FYBRR 2018-000092, Jules Cadet. That's me.
There
Officer
you go.
Gary Beswick, and that's item number 86.
State your full name and address.
Jules André Cadet. Jules Cadet. JULES. Cadet CADET.
Are you the property owner?
Yes, I am.
What is the property address?
And 12670 West Dixie Highway.
Do you know why you're here?
For recertification,
Okay.
I think I have it done by an architect. That's what he gave me to present to you.
Have you shown that to the code officer?
I did receive it. Good afternoon, Gary Beswick for the City of North Miami Building Department. We did receive a report, but in the report there was some deficiency with the parking illumination. So I did March 19th, I'm going to show him a copy, a letter that I sent off to him, the property owner, about what the engineer stated.
I think this is something's been done last week. I don't know. I don't think you have this. This is what I have last week. Is it this one? Yeah. All right.
You have the report, but there's some deficiencies
Correct.
listed in the report. So
Correct.
has he complied by giving you a copy of the
No.
report?
No, he's not comply. No.
All right.
In order to comply, everything got to be cleared. And through you to him, if he look on the certificate of compliance, if you look at that page.
All right.
What are the issues still pending? You said lighting?
The parking lot, yes, the lighting for the parking lot. It does not meet the minimum
Is
standard.
this commercial property?
Yes,
Okay. So he needs to fix the lights.
correct.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay. Sir, how much time do you need?
I will ask the architect today, and he will tell me, but I don't know.
Well, if he tells you that it's more than 60 days, you need a new architect.
Oh,
Okay, so based on the testimony presented by the code compliance officer, the violation exists. I find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication, and set an abatement date of 60 days from today. In the event of noncompliance, there will be a daily fine of $250 until the violation is abated.
okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item number 77, MHVIO 2017-00878, Jezadel, Officer Gary Beswick, and that's item number 77.
Please state your full name and address.
My name is William Magarin. I'm Jezebel's dad. 13181 Northeast 14th Avenue.
Do you understand the nature of the violation?
Yes.
How much time do you need?
This is already adjudicated. We
This
just
is
need to know
adjudicated.
we just
Okay.
need to know what's going on. Where you at?
Well,
All
I
right.
submitted the plans because the plans that I originally submitted, they were outdated. So I had to go and get an architect to go ahead and bring them up to par. So I already submitted them, I believe it was Wednesday of last week. So I'm just waiting for them to either email or call me so I can go and pull the permit.
This goes back to July 2017.
Oh, yeah.
That's a long time.
Yep.
And that's why there has been an adjudication by a prior magistrate, setting a daily fine of $300, correct?
It was a kind of like a roller coaster ride for us, but we finally got it, going. So I mean, I had to pay like $2,500 for the architect and the engineer to bring the plans up to par. But like I said, I already submitted them. Just waiting for them to give us the green light, and we'll start working on the project.
Okay, did the prior magistrate set a daily fine?
Yes.
300 a day?
Yes.
All right, so I ratify those, the violations, the fines accrued to date. They will continue to accrue at the rate of $300 a day until there is compliance, and assess costs in favor of the city. So thank you.
Item number 87, CERCV 2018-00257, Julio, Officer Jose Perez, and it's item number 87.
Parking recreational vehicles. Sir, will you please state your full name and property address for the record?
My name is Julio Ibanez. I reside at 12700 Northwest First Avenue, North Miami.
And the property address is what?
12700 Northwest First Avenue.
Are you the property owner?
Yes, I am.
Let me hear from the city first.
City of North Miami Code Enforcement Officer Perez. Today we're hearing the case in reference to the property at 12700 Northwest First Avenue, North Miami, Florida 33168. This is in reference to a recreational vehicle, specifically a boat being stored on the property. On my final reinspection date as of March 13, 2019 at 3:57 p.m., the boat was still there. After that, I believe I spoke to the property owner who advised that they applied for a variance. Is that correct?
Negative.
Negative. Okay, so I'm gonna admit my photograph to the property owner and to evidence.
That's my property.
That's your property?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I also have pictures.
Okay, I'll look at your pictures in a minute.
As stated previously in the other cases, the ordinance states that the boat cannot be on the property itself regardless of the positioning unless there is a variance.
And for the benefit of the property owner and others that may be interested, what is required in terms of how does the process work in terms of getting a variance?
So as of right now, it's being ratified, but if I'm not mistaken, you still have to go down to the Community Planning Development Department, and they would walk you through the process. It, from my understanding, is an application where they would submit their information along with a fee, and at that point, they would go around and getting approval from your neighbors as to if they allow the boat on the property.
And the variance allows you to maintain the property, or does it require you to cover the,
So with the
vehicle?
variance, it states that you're allowed to have the boat on a specific part of the property, and it has to be on a paved surface.
and covered?
I'm not sure if they have the restrictions. They are the ones that manage those.
All right, so, do you contest a violation?
Absolutely, sir. This
Tell
is
me why.
This is the first I'm hearing of this new variance, because I have received 2 notices in the past. And each notice, as stated clearly here by City of North Miami, states, if I may read it
Sure.
verbatim. Excuse me. The description of the violation is stated, says it is prohibited to park or store recreational vehicles, boats, trailers, campers in the front or side yard abutting street without first receiving administrative variance. I have 2 of these such violations. The first one I received was back in, you'll excuse me, I'm unfamiliar with this process.
Take your time.
I'm a little,
You're doing fine.
thank you. On May 23rd, I received the first violation by a young lady by the name of Sophia Desilene. Pardon my pronunciation. The young lady, after receiving the notice on May 23rd, I immediately responded to her. And by immediate, I mean the next day, I was in the code compliance building, which used to be in a temporary trailer back here, right away. When I spoke to her, she was out on the street, so I waited. She then proceeded to come in, and I spoke to her, very polite young lady, and she explained to me that I could not have the vehicle there if it was parked on the front or the side. And she went on to say, which I know this from prior experience, that it has to be up-to-date registration of both the boat and the trailer, which I do have that information right here. I provided it to her. At that time, she said it was out of her hands. She would have to speak to her supervisor, and she would get back to me the next day. I called back the next day. No answer. Went to her message. I left a message. That was a Friday, because Thursday, the day before, is when I went to the trailer. When I spoke to her, I left a message. Naturally, being a Friday, I said, let's give this a couple of days. The next week, on a Monday, first thing, when they opened, I called again, left several messages. No response. No one got back to me. I assumed the matter was laid at rest. Now, I received another notice to appear. And as I stated before, the notice clearly says, prohibited to park or store recreational vehicles, boats, trailers, and campers in the front or side yard abutting street without first receiving administrative variance. When I got this notice, right away, I called the very same day, and I spoke to a gentleman named Mr. Perez. I must assume it was this gentleman, a Jose Perez. When I spoke to the gentleman, very polite, I explained to him the situation that I had been cited back in May by Ms. Desilene. She said, well, she's no longer here. I said, okay, that's fine. How can we clear this up? Because I am not in violation. I am neither in the front. I am neither in the side. I am in the extreme northwest corner of my property. I can provide pictures if you'd like to see them, sir.
Please.
The gentleman explained to me as he tried his best, he said, this has already been forwarded to a notice to appear. I really can't comment any further on that, but we are presently, the word he said earlier, and the other gentleman that was here, that it was in some sort of renewal or some new code that you guys are enforcing, or the city of North Miami is enforcing?
That's the variance process.
There you go, the variance process, excuse me. Now, each one of these notices states clearly that it's front or side, doesn't say any vehicle. Now, I feel I've been lured here under false pretenses because I provided pictures, I got on my roof, I made a schematic, I took time off of work, and now I come to find out earlier from another gentleman that was here that it's any recreational vehicle, and then it's under some sort of new rule. I know nothing of this new rule. Fortunately for me, I'm a little familiar with code compliance. I work for Dade County as well. That's why I also knew about the registration had to be up to date. This is all news to me. I have also a neighbor that lives across the way that's had his boat there for 20 years, and he just recently had this brought onto him. And if I understand correctly, as he explained it to me, and I understand that that person's not here available to testify, he had to get permission from his neighbors in order to keep his boat there from now on because of this new variance that's being applied, which is all news to me because none of that is stated in these two notifications that I received. And that's why I feel that I was kind of lured here under false pretenses, because I provided a lot of information that shows that I am in compliance and have been in compliance since that boat was there in 2015.
Well, here's my concern, and it's my first hearing, so I need a little.
As well do I, sir.
I need a little explanation from the city attorney's office as to whether or not there is a disconnect, if you will.
There is, sir.
Let me. Don't interrupt. Let me get a clarification from the city attorney's office. There appears to me to be a disconnect between what the notice cites the violation, the owner, for, and what the code says is illegal. So I've got to get clarification on whether or not the code says that you are not authorized to park a boat on your front yard or side yard, but you can park it somewhere else within the property, or alternatively, does the code say that you cannot have a boat on your property, any portion of your property, without a variance? And that's what I'm struggling with. So, Madam City Attorney, could you explain?
Judge, I stepped out for half of the hearing, so I apologize, but it's any, and I believe, do you have a copy of the notice of violation?
I do.
I'm asking the officer, sir.
I
Yes, I do.
apologize.
So the violation, the notice that he got a copy of states to 29-5-1405. This property owner definitely testified that he is familiar with codes, and he knows that they exist, and he knows that he's responsible for them. He read what it, I'm not going to restate what it says. I can pass it up to Your Honor, but this gives a summary, and he's able to go back to that section and read the rest as to what it is. This says prohibited to park or store recreational vehicles, boats, trailers, campers in the front or side yard abutting street without first receiving administrative variance approval. Accordingly, the following corrective measures must be taken. So in addition, there's something that's stated that says, please refrain from parking any recreational vehicles on the property without first obtaining an administrative variance. There's contact information on here as well. If there was any questions or any confusion, I know we got a long backstory regarding the first young lady who he spoke with that worked in code that no longer works here. He could have called and asked and done that in advance, but he can't have any vehicle.
With all due
And,
respect,
please
I
don't-
did
don't-
call.
Don't interrupt. It's not going to help your case if you keep interrupting. I hear you loud and clearly, and I want to make sure that I do the right thing. My question is, does the code differ in terms of what is required from the actual citation that he receives.
No, it doesn't. It's stated and it's very clear. It gives the code number, it gives a description. It can't differ. If it did, I would be amending the
Right.
ticket, but in this case, it's exact.
Okay, so it says violation, it cites the number of the code section applicable, and it says prohibited to park or store recreational vehicles, boats, trailers, and campers, in the front or side yard abutting streets without first receiving administrative variance approval. Now, you tell me, sir, why do you believe that you're exempt from this provision? Are you not parking your vehicle on the front or side of your property?
I am not.
He can't park it anywhere, Judge.
Okay,
If you continue reading it, I read it out loud, it's very clear. He can't park it anywhere unless he has the variance, and he doesn't have the variance.
May I interject?
please.
That may say that,
Mhm.
but neither one of the violations I received states that. And I tried to get some sort of, clearance on this or try to find out more about this. And each time that I approached someone, and I spoke to this gentleman as well, they told me, he explained to me that it's already gone to hearing and he can't really comment on it, but they're going through some sort of variance right now. When I spoke to someone else, they told me, look it up on the computer. No one would give me any information. I later went to another office after this notice of violation, appearance, and I went to the new office that's across from 125th. That person there told me as well, this has gone to appearance. They cannot come in, but it clearly states here in both copies that I have, what you've given me, what you've provided me, as well as this gentleman here, it states clearly, prohibited to park or store recreational vehicles, boats, trailers, campers in the front or side yard abutting street without first receiving administrative variance. How am I supposed to perceive that when it clearly says front or side? And my vote
Okay.
is clearly in the northwest back corner of the property and has been there
Okay.
for over 4 years.
I understand your argument, but I also see that in the notice of violation, it says accordingly, the following corrective measures must be taken. Please refrain from parking any recreational vehicles on the property without first obtaining an administrative variance to include the boat in the rear side of the property. The way that the city is
It's very confusing, sir.
Yeah,
Because the first part of it is the important part, as I understand it, because that's also the part that's provided to me. Now, I don't dispute, and I'm sure it's right there, that all the rest of it is on there, but I don't have that. You did not provide me with that.
If I may, the copy that he has there is from the other officer, Sofia de
I have
which was
also
no-
yours.
Yeah, don't speak,
Right.
across
So-
each other, because I can't.
The copy that he has there and he's attesting to is the copy from the other officer, not my violation. I posted my violation on his property. He's advising that he never received it, which he did, and then he received the notice to appear, which is a different violation from which what we're reading now.
Okay. All right, sir, I don't make the laws of the city, and neither does the city attorney or the code officer. The code section that applies to your situation is Code Section 29-5-1405. And it does say that you cannot park a recreational vehicle or a boat anywhere on your property. You and I may disagree as to whether or not you were misled, whether the language was correct or not correct. We can disagree that perhaps there was a misunderstanding. I'm sure that there was a misunderstanding. But the code says that you need a variance.
Okay, but the
That's what the
code,
code says.
you're saying that as applied to the second part of it, but the first part of it says front or side.
Yeah, but
Can
this
you
is not
see-
the code.
I understand
not
that.
the code.
But it's confusing
I
because you
understand.
tell me you agree it's confusing.
Yeah, I agree that you could
So
read
you're-
it in the way that you read it, but
no,
now.
I'm reading it exactly as it's written.
On the
Now,
other notice.
every time that I have tried to approach the Department of Code, I have tried. I've bent over backwards. I was there the day after I got the first notice, because I can understand how these things can get out of hand if you don't, are diligent and you start looking into it. Now, you're choosing to look at the part that says any, but you're not choosing to look at the part that says provided to me. Thank you. I have tried. I have bent over backwards to speak to people, and each time they have stated, go on the computer, find out. I can only go by what you physically give me, and this is what I have.
Sir, because you read the first sentence of the code and not the second sentence does not mean that it's confusing. It's all inclusive, the first and second sentence.
Okay.
You can't stop at the first sentence and expect the second sentence not
I
to
understand
apply,
that.
and that's what we're applying here.
I understand that,
So
but can you see
have
where it's
some time-
confusing?
No, I do not see where it's confusing. You can
Wait a
have some
minute,
time
hold
to
on a
get
second.
the
The
All right,
first
let's
part of
not-
it,
let- wait,
You were
wait,
the
in
first part of
violation.
it states clearly front or
Yes.
side, and then you go
You've
on to
said it,
add
yeah.
You've said
any.
that 100 times, but
Yeah,
the second
you've said
part
it.
is also a part of the code, and you need to
Exactly.
comply.
So now that you know that the code says what it says, you need a variance. And you can argue until the cows come home that it's confusing. And I may or may not agree with you whether it's confusing or not. But the city requires you to obtain a variance. How much time do you need to obtain a variance so that you can legalize that vehicle? And I'm not going to assess you any fines today, but I'm going to give you a compliance date, whatever time you need in order to comply.
Or remove the boat.
Has this been adjudicated?
No.
No, we're
Okay.
asking for an adjudication. He was not
Okay,
in
but,
compliance.
okay, we'll do an adjudication. We're gonna give him time to comply.
And the city requests either the variance or the removal of the boat, which is either or.
It's at his
At his
discretion.
discretion, correct.
Right.
I'm a little unclear on this variance because it's my understanding that I also have to get approval from my neighbors to allow the boat to be on the property.
I don't know what the variance process is, but
Well,
whatever it
this
is, you
young
need
lady
to comply with.
seems to know. I sure
You
would
can
love.
speak to the officer, and he can guide you in the right direction in the back. as to
That's
who to
with the
contact.
community planning and development. That's with a different department. They're the ones that
You
handle
see what
that.
I'm saying? I've
Yeah.
often tried to reach out,
They're
and I
across the
get this
But
rigmarole of
my job is to adjudicate the case based on the facts and the law presented to me today. And the facts are that there's a boat on your property and a variance is required in order to maintain that boat on your property. Whatever the requirements of that variance are, I don't know, and I couldn't tell you what those requirements are.
I would like to get clarification on that
I
because
can't give you
this-
clarification.
I understand that. I would love to speak to the individual because
That's CP&D. Mr. Perez isn't in charge of that, but he's gonna tell you where the building is. It's right next door across the street. So you can go there now since you're here already, and they'll give you all of that information.
Okay. So, based on the testimony of the city's code compliance officer, the photograph depicting the condition cited, I find that a violation still exists. The proper notice has been given. I find in favor of the city. Enter an adjudication and set an abatement date, meaning a date by which you must get a variance. I'm gonna give you 90 days to get a variance.
Thank you.
And in the event of non-compliance, in the event of that the violation is not abated, meaning that you either get a variance or store the boat somewhere else, I am going to assess a daily fine of $200 per day until the violation is remedied.
And Judge, is that June 12th for the abatement date?
60 days? Yes.
I thought it was 90 days, sir.
Did I say 90? I said 90. I said 90.
July 10th.
Yes. And if the city is dragging their feet or giving you a hassle,
Yes, they are, ma'am,
then
sir.
then please speak with a code officer, and we'll have a progress
Sir,
report.
with all due respect, I spoke to someone named Mr. Perez. I have to assume that it was this gentleman on the same day that I got this notice to appear, and he told me he could not comment because there was a new variance going on, and to gather up all the information you had and
Yeah.
because it was already,
From what I saw at the last commission meeting, there is a discussion as to the variance process and who's gonna hear it. So, I would suggest that somebody at community development meet with you and discuss what the procedure will be, whether you have to go to the Board of Adjustment or the city manager, but, you know, come back in 90 days and let's see where we are.
If I may, could we change that to 60 days as with the prior cases with the recreational vehicles? We were only giving them 30 days after the
All right,
application.
let's do 60 days to be fair, and I'm sure that by then you'll be able to tell me if you're able to get your variance and come into compliance.
And that's June 12th.
Okay,
Thank you.
good, all right. Thank you.
Next.
thank
Item-
you.
Item 90, FYBRR 2017-00038, Claus House LLC, Officer Gary Beswick, and it's item 90.
Representative of the property owner present? Claus House LLC? Nobody here? You want to pass on this one?
Yeah, for 90, you push it off for 90 days.
Continuance for 90
90 days,
days?
yes.
Granted.
Item number 92, FYBRR 2017-00018, Laws Investment, Inc., Officer Gary Beswick. Item number 92.
Lawson Investments. Anybody here on behalf of the property owner? Please come forward. Nobody having appeared? Is the code officer prepared to make a recommendation on this one? This one was adjudicated.
This one's 60 days out. 60 days.
You need
Table
60
for 60 days, yes.
Okay, continued for 60 days.
Item number 94, MHVIO 2018-00740, Lysandro Chavez, Officer Gary Beswick, and that's item number 94.
Sir, will you please state your full name and property address for the record?
Alan Richards, 13115 Northeast 12th Avenue, North Miami, Florida, 33161.
What is your relationship to the property?
I'm the owner.
So, is Lisandro Chavez not the owner?
He's my grandfather.
Okay. Are you on the title?
I am not personally on the title, but I'm married to Jacqueline Richards, so we live together.
Do you have authority from the owner of the property? Is it
Absolutely.
your grandparents? Or your,
No, the house is under my wife's name and my
Okay.
grandfather's name,
okay,
so I've lived there for
Okay.
18 years. So.
okay.
Can I have
Great.
a copy of his license just to verify?
Yes,
his information?
if you would provide a copy of your driver's license to the city attorney, just to,
If Your Honor's going to be taking his testimony.
I will be accepting his testimony, yes.
Thank you.
Sir, do you understand the nature of the violations?
Yes, I do.
And do you contest the violations?
Can we hear them?
Okay, let's have the city present its case.
Good afternoon, Gary Beswick for the City of North Miami Building Department. The property was first cited back on April the 30th for a structure that was constructed in the way of the yard. They applied for a permit, but it's still in the pending status, and I had a photograph to reflect what structure it was referenced to.
Show it to Mr. Richards. Is that your property?
Yes, sir.
I'll admit the photographs. Is it one photo or more than one?
I think it's just one. It's the structure that's above the fence.
It's this wooden,
Pergola.
okay, got it. What is the applicable code section and what does it say?
Upper Burp Code section is section 5-32. It shall be unlawful to start any construction in the city without first obtaining a permit and paying the required fees. And a person who commences any work on a building, structure, electrical, gas, mechanical, or plumbing system before obtaining the building official's approval or the necessary permit shall be subject to a penalty of 100% of the required permit fee in addition to the requirement permit fee, plus any other penalties assessed by the city code enforcement special magistrate.
Just I'm passing up a copy of the ordinance.
Let me see.
It's everything he just read.
Yeah, the question is whether this particular structure that is on top of the fence,
It's not on
falls
top,
within-
it's behind the fence, it's not on top of
Oh.
the fence.
it's, okay, let me see the picture again. Here's the last, Madam Clerk, last picture that I didn't give you back.
Oh.
So it's the whole fence?
No, sir.
No? Show me, sir, what structure? This here. Okay, not here, not that. Okay, this is behind the fence. Got it. Mr. Richards, what is your position?
My position is that it's not a structure. It's a pergola, which you could buy at Home Depot. I'm a carpenter. I built my own pergola. That's it. After the fact, after this, they sent me to the building department to pull permits and drawings. I submitted the drawings. I applied for the permits. Everything is still pending. In any case, after all this time that's been going on, I have taken down the pergola. There is no pergola that is existing right now.
So your testimony is that you've cured the violation. Did you call the code officer to go out and take a look and?
I have not. I
Okay,
waited
okay.
for the date here.
Okay,
What do you suggest?
well, he didn't call me, but I'll go over there and inspect it.
If you want, I could show you a photo.
Sure.
When's the photo from?
This morning.
State that so that it's clear on the record. You took a photograph
I took a
of the
photograph
area.
of the property this morning, of the actual area.
Okay, show it to the code officer. Is he in compliance now?
Correct. I'm not sure if that's the area, so I have to go visit. I have to visit myself.
You're more than welcome to come by.
Okay, so I'm gonna table this
It's fine.
case and you can bring it back if there's no
That's
compliance.
correct.
If there is compliance, then the case stands dismissed.
And Judge, just for future reference, for the homeowner, because I don't want him to get the wrong idea. I looked up what a pergola is. This is actually a structure. There's wood. It looks like this was actually built. This wasn't something that was bought from Home Depot and just placed there.
I did not say that. I said you can buy that from Home Depot.
If it's something that's bought from the Home Depot, like a pergola that you can put up that's already made, that's fine. But this is an actual structure. There's wood.
Right,
It's embedded in. I'm sure it was made by you or someone.
personally.
Okay, that's a structure. So for future references, so you don't get cited again for something like this.
Not a
just
problem.
letting you know.
I appreciate that.
Thank you for your help. So we're going to table the case if there's 30 days compliance. If already complies. If there's compliance, then don't bring it back. Just dismiss it.
Are we done?
Next case?
Thank you.
Item number 97, FYBRR 2018-00030, Magnolia Drive Investments LLC. Officer Gary Beswick, and that's item number 97.
Ma'am, could you come up to the podium? Give us your name and the property address.
Hello, I am Jessica Almanla. The address is 1830 Northeast 144th Street.
Spell your last name.
Almanla, Almanla. I am the power of attorney for Mohammed and Josephine Almanla.
Please show it to the city attorney.
Sure.
Okay.
And it's 1830 Northeast 144th Street?
Yes.
Okay. 40-year recertification.
Do you need to see it?
No.
Okay with it, Judge. Okay.
Do you contest the violation?
I'm not aware that there is a violation. I just am aware that there is a 40-year recertification that we're up for.
That's a
We-
violation.
Okay, got it. We received a notice, I believe here it's February 25th. Mohammed and Josefina, they're the owners of the building. They're actually out of town until April 1st, but they have coordinated for somebody to come and inspect the property. The property has been inspected and we're just waiting on the report. And I would like to request 60 days so that they can get back in the country, review, and, you know, make any repairs if needed. And then we can get this
Is this
called-
a commercial property or a
Yes.
residential property? How
It's
many
a-
units?
It's just one building with, you know, it's one company that's in there and then just a few little offices in there.
And it's all operated or owned by Magnolia Drive Investments?
Yes,
Okay. And
The
so
building.
you understand that there is a requirement that there be a 40-year recertification and you need to file a report and correct any deficiencies. You understand
yes,
that?
I'm aware of that. And so
Okay.
basically they had the inspector come out. We're just waiting for the report. And then as soon as that comes in, they'll make any repairs that are needed. And then it's my understanding that we would have to call the code officer to come and make sure that everything is okay, give them the report.
Actually,
Is
no.
that correct?
No.
No.
First of all, Your Honor, we seek an adjudication and can give her the 60 days.
All right.
Requirement,
I'm sorry, I missed that. What?
No, that's, but he said that he wants to give you 60 days
Oh, okay,
to
great.
do it.
Okay.
okay, the procedure is once you get the report from the engineer or the architect, you bring the physical report, sign and seal each page with a fee of $707 to the
Okay.
building department,
Okay.
the physical paper.
Okay. Can I write that down? Okay.
Yeah.
So what do I need to do?
Yeah, I'm sorry?
Can we do this after?
Okay, you're gonna talk to the code officer
Okay.
and
And
work
get the
that
info.
out. In the meantime, I'm going to adjudicate the case in favor of the city based on the evidence presented.
Okay.
And I'm gonna give you or the property owner 60 days in which to comply, set an adjudication date of 60 days from today, and if there's no compliance within 60 days, then a daily fine of $250 per day for non-compliance until the report is submitted and approved by the city.
Okay. And is 60 days June 12th? Okay, perfect.
Okay?
Sounds good.
And
Thank
he'll
you.
explain to you exactly what you need to do.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Item number 98, CERCV 2018-00259, Manuel Rodriguez and wife Krista, Officer Jose Perez, item number 98.
My name is John Churchill. I'm in here behalf of Manuel Rodriguez. I have an affidavit.
Present it to the city attorney, please. Your last name, sir?
Churchill.
Churchill. And the property address is 310 Northwest 127th Street?
That's correct.
Okay. City, will you proceed?
1 second, sorry.
1 second, Judge. Where's it saying that you are allowed to speak for him? This is just,
Oh, let's keep going. It was the whole package from the building.
oh, okay,
Okay? That's the package they give you for the variance.
okay, cool. Thank you.
Are we good with the power? Okay.
Mhm.
City of North Miami Code Enforcement Officer Perez. Today we're hearing the case in reference to the property at 310 Northwest 127th Street, North Miami, Florida, 33161. This is in reference to a recreational vehicle, in reference to a boat being stored on the side of the property. The violation was opened back on December 5th, 2018. I have photographs as of March 13, 2019 at 3:32 p.m. The boat is still there, and a variance had not been applied at the time. Gonna be showing the photographs to the representative.
Please.
Correct.
That's
And
your
it's-
property?
I think he's,
Yes, it's on a
Okay.
concrete pad.
Okay.
In accordance to
Is that it from the city?
Correct, yes.
Okay,
According
I-
to
I- the photograph is admitted. Sir?
According to the administrative variance, it has to be on a concrete pad, and everything's done correctly. I had a new survey pulled, and it's been filed with the city. They received it. Everything has been paid, so we're just waiting for the final approval.
All right, so 60 days should be more than enough to get your approvals.
But I'm waiting for the city, so I've done everything.
30? Have we been giving 30 for?
no, but he's already applied and everything.
I've
Okay,
already
so-
done everything.
All right,
He's
so
just
you're
waiting
just
for-
waiting on the city?
It's the city.
Yeah.
All
They
right,
said they
so-
would notify me with a time of reinspection.
Okay. And you've gotten your neighbors to agree and
It's all
everything?
there.
It's all there.
Everything.
Okay, so based on the testimony of the city's code enforcement officer, the photograph that I've reviewed, and other evidence presented, I find in favor of the city enter an adjudication and set a compliance date of 30 days. In the event of noncompliance, there will be a daily fine of $250 until the violation is abated. Thank you.
Now, if it goes beyond that, it's in the city's hands.
Yes, if it goes beyond that, we'll extend it. We'll
Oh, okay.
grab
Yeah.
You'll
continuance.
work with a code officer on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to
I'm
be
sure
clear.
that
I
he'll,
just wanted to be
he'll,
clear.
he'll be happy to work with you.
Okay, I did everything, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good work.
Thank you.
Item number 99, MHVIO 2018-00820 Maria Bolanos and husband Oscar, Officer Gary Beswick, and that's item number 99.
Step right up, ma'am. Please state your full name and property address for the record.
Excuse me, Maria Bolano, 1695 Northeast, 139th Street.
You're the owner.
Yes, I am.
City, please proceed.
Good afternoon, Gary Bezick for the City of North Miami Building Department. The property was cited for failure to obtain a required permit before install a wooden fence and deck. As of today, the permit has not been obtained. Permit was applied for, but it's not has been obtained, and I have some photograph.
Show it to Ms. Bolanos. Ma'am, is that your property?
What is that? Oh, that's the front, the side. Which is the fence you're talking
Please, speak into the mic, please.
about? Oh, which is the fence? What's the date of that picture? 5/8, okay.
Is that your property?
Yes, that is.
Okay.
Can I relook? Can I relook at the pictures? I just want to look.
Yes, he'll be happy to show you the pictures.
Right, this is the front area.
We're talking about a wooden fence
Yes.
and a deck?
Yes,
And no
this is-
permit?
This is related to Hurricane Irma. I did apply for a permit, and I've spoken with Derek Cook, the zoning manager. The problem that I'm having that they're not approving my permit is because of the variance, because my pool is elevated, and the pool was built in 1960. So there is an existing fence. I have a picture before Hurricane Irma that I took pictures of my home before it got destroyed. And I repaired the fence not knowing I needed a permit because it was life safety, because I have a 18 by 28 pool, which is 9 feet deep. And it was accessible to anybody to come in and that could drown. And I have the building code for safety for pools that you need an enclosure.
So
And this
you,
is an
you
enclosure.
you applied for a permit?
Yes, and I'm stuck
You have a
in
copy?
zoning.
You have a copy of
No,
the
it's
permit?
pending. It's independent. No, she haven't got it yet. It's pending.
I have this.
It's pending.
Yeah, I have it here in the schedule.
Okay, so you have a process number.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and I spoke with Mr. Cook, and he told me it would be up to the magistrate to make a decision on the height, because the problem is that the fence is 6 feet, but it's elevated. So there's elevation on the bottom, so it makes the fence higher, but it's been there for 19 years.
Okay, I don't make decisions on how far or how high the fence should be. My
It's
decision
approving the
is
variance.
based, is, my decision is, have you complied? Is there a violation? And have you complied? Have you fixed the violation? That's all.
Well, I'm trying to fix what they want me to do, but no one has explained to me what I need to do, and it's stuck, like I said, in
That is
zoning.
incorrect.
Okay, so what
No
is-
one has ever spoken to me. The only person that's helped me is Mr. Cook, and he's the zoning manager. That's where it's stuck. So I need to know what I need to resolve to fix the problem, because I don't know. I just replaced a fence that was been there for 18 years. I have pictures here right before the hurricane that the fence existed. It wasn't a new construction. It was a replacement of damages. And all my fencing was damaged. And everybody was in that situation.
But when you replaced the fence, you needed to have a permit.
Right,
in
I
order
wasn't
to do
aware
that.
because I had an existing fence. I didn't know that.
Okay.
I'm a single parent,
All
having
right.
people to help me, and, you know, my son was the one that did
Okay.
the fencing, so.
Madam Attorney, you wanted to say
Can I say?
something?
Yeah. I have
And
to
he
say
spoke to
something.
my son when he
Okay.
came to my home.
I mean, judges, it's been 10 months. You know, I understand the circumstances, but, I mean, she's admitted that there,
Yeah, it's been 10 months because
there's-
I've been fighting, you know, not fighting, but going back forth. What do I need to do? What's the problem? So finally, he told me, well, go to court and see if they'll approve your variance, because the pool area's been there for 19
but
years.
there's been a violation, in terms of installing the fence, and, I mean.
But if there was no hurricane, I would never have to change it.
If I may, so, at the end of the day, she's still in violation, so we're gonna be asking for an adjudication.
Yes.
How much time?
Her today is I spoke with her back. If you look at my file, I spoke with her. First time I spoke with her was May 14, 2008, from phone number 305
18.
18.
Right.
Phone
and-
number 305-815-22112. That's the first time I spoke with her, back last
Right.
year in May. And then I spoke to her recently when she told me that Derek said whatever he said.
And he spoke with Derek
Wait,
too.
please don't
I'm
interrupt
sorry.
him.
And basically, he said she misunderstood what he said, what he was telling her. So basically, she didn't follow through with what he was advising her.
No, that's not correct.
Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna give you some time.
Yeah, I
to
need some
correct the
time.
violation, because the violation has to be corrected. You need to
Right,
pull-
but I
you
don't know
need
how to
pull a
correct
permit.
it.
Uh,
I need some guidance.
Well, I can't give you the guidance. I will refer you to somebody in the city that will work with you to get the violation corrected. There's a gentleman back there, that football player that you see way in the back. But anyway, he will be happy to work with you to get this thing.
Okay,
corrected.
and when I did get the violation, I did go to the city and apply it June 7th. It's just they've been dragging their feet and back and forth. So it wasn't that I've let it go. I've been on top of it. I even have emails from Derek back and forth, back and forth. I have all my proof here. So it's not like I neglected not to want to fix the problem.
I understand.
I want to fix it. I want to pay my fees and move on.
Okay.
Because the hurricane has come by 2 years
All right.
already. I don't want to continue with this.
That gentleman will
He'll help
be
me.
happy to help you.
Thank you.
Based on the testimony of the code compliance officer and the testimony of the property owner that I heard, and looking at pictures of the fence and
Do you want to see my
no,
pictures?
No, please don't.
Okay.
I find in favor of the city. I enter an adjudication and set a compliance date of 60 days. In the event of non-compliance, then there will be a daily fine of $250 until the violation is corrected.
Thank you.
So.
And if I don't have the proper people to help me, like, 'cause a lot of people are busy, if I need an extension from the 60 days,
You can talk to the code officer and work with the code officer and see what,
just so
What
I
he
don't want
thinks.
to, have, since I've been with this for almost a year and I want to correct it.
Okay.
And I don't know how long it's going to take if I find somebody.
I can't tell you how long it's gonna take. I just would hope that you get the right advice. You may need to hire a professional.
Right.
But I'm sure that the code officer is more than happy, and building official is back there. You can spend some time with him right now, and he can explain
And
to
he
you
can
what you
talk
need
to me
do.
because Mr.
Yes,
Cook
he
told
will.
me about the variance, that if I get a variance, that I can probably keep the fence the way it is.
Well, that's
with the height.
another subject for another day, but right
Okay.
now, you're in violation, and you have 60 days to comply, so.
Okay. I thought they were lenient,
The fines, Judge.
as far as being hurricane-related
The fine
damages.
is $250.
You have until June 12th.
June 12th, otherwise, the daily fines the daily fines will accrue at the rate of $250 per day. Okay, next case.
Item number 102, MHVIO 2018011350, Marie Lebron, Officer Gary Beswick, and that's item number 102.
Please state your full name and property address.
My name is Mary LeBron. The address is 1061 Northeast 140 Street.
Are you the owner of the property?
Yes, I am.
Okay, do you contest the violation?
Yes.
You do? City, will you present your case?
Gary.
Gary Beswick.